In our modern world, happiness has become less of an emotion and more of a mandatory performance. We are surrounded by messages telling us to always look on the bright side, smile through the pain, and never let anyone see us struggle. Social media amplifies this pressure, presenting an endless stream of curated moments where everyone seems perpetually perfect. Vacation snapshots, career achievements, and picture-perfect relationships create an illusion that joy is a constant state, and if you're not experiencing it, something must be wrong with you. But here's the truth. This relentless pursuit of constant happiness is not just unrealistic, it's emotionally damaging. In her groundbreaking book, Exploring Toxic Positivity, Whitney Goodman reveals how this culture of compulsory cheerfulness actually prevents us from processing real emotions and experiencing genuine healing. We've created a world where negative feelings are treated like inconvenient interruptions rather than essential human experiences. Sadness, frustration, grief, these aren't problems to be fixed, but signals our inner world uses to communicate deeper truths about our lived experience. The pressure to always appear happy doesn't make us stronger. Instead, it isolates us, making us feel fundamentally flawed when we can't maintain an impossible emotional standard. Real emotional health isn't about being happy all the time. It's about being honest with ourselves and others. Toxic positivity isn't just about being happy. It's a psychological defense mechanism that transforms genuine emotion into a carefully constructed mask. Imagine constantly telling yourself, "It's fine," when nothing feels fine, or responding to deep pain with a forced smile and cheerful platitude. In Russ Harris's groundbreaking work, Exploring Emotional Psychology, he reveals how toxic positivity emerges as a protective strategy. We develop this mechanism to avoid uncomfortable feelings, believing that if we simply refuse to acknowledge our genuine emotional experience, those feelings will somehow disappear. But here's the truth. Suppressing emotions doesn't make them vanish. Instead, it pushes them underground, where they simmer and grow more powerful. Toxic positivity looks like responding to grief with "just stay positive," or minimizing someone's struggle by saying, "other people have it worse." What makes this pattern so dangerous is its seemingly innocent facade. It masquerades as resilience, when in reality, it's emotional avoidance. True emotional health requires acknowledging the full spectrum of human feeling, the light and the dark, the comfortable and the challenging. By understanding toxic positivity, we can begin to dismantle its grip and embrace a more authentic emotional landscape. When we constantly mask our true feelings behind a perpetual smile, we're not just hiding our emotions, we're actively damaging our psychological well-being. Research shows that consistently suppressing negative emotions creates a profound internal pressure that doesn't simply disappear, but instead builds like steam in a sealed container. In her groundbreaking work on emotional intelligence, Susan David reveals that this emotional repression doesn't make challenging feelings go away. It transforms them into silent saboteurs of our mental health. Anxiety, depression, and chronic stress often emerge not from the emotions themselves, but from our relentless attempts to deny them. Think about it. Every time you push down sadness, stuff away anger, or paste on a fake smile when you're truly struggling, you're teaching your brain that your authentic emotional experience isn't valid. This creates a dangerous cycle where your inner world becomes increasingly disconnected from your external presentation. The cost of constant smiling isn't just emotional, it's physiological. Unprocessed feelings don't vanish, they simmer beneath the surface, impacting everything from your relationships to your physical health. Real emotional resilience isn't about being perpetually happy, but about having the courage to acknowledge and move through the entire spectrum of human experience. Our emotions aren't random signals to be ignored or suppressed. They're sophisticated biological messages that serve crucial survival functions. Sadness isn't weakness. It's a profound signal that something significant has been lost. Anger isn't a character flaw. It's a boundary-setting mechanism that protects us from harm. Take grief, for example. When we lose something or someone meaningful, Sadness isn't just an inconvenience, it's a healing process. Brené Brown's work highlights how fully experiencing these difficult emotions actually helps us process and integrate painful experiences, rather than pushing them into the shadows of our psyche. Negative emotions are emotional intelligence in action. They alert us to imbalances, help us understand our needs, and prompt necessary changes in our lives. Feeling angry can reveal where our boundaries have been crossed. Experiencing sadness connects us to our deepest values and attachments. The problem isn't that we feel these emotions. The problem is that we've been taught to fear them, to see them as failures or signs of weakness. But true emotional resilience isn't about eliminating difficult feelings. It's about having the courage to listen to them, to understand their messages, and to move through them with compassion. Have you ever wondered why some people seem allergic to negative emotions? Why they reflexively respond to pain with "just be positive" or immediately try to fix what feels uncomfortable? The roots of toxic positivity run deep, often planted in childhood and watered by cultural messaging that emotional vulnerability is weakness. In many families, expressing sadness, anger, or uncertainty isn't just discouraged, it's actively punished. Children learn quickly that difficult emotions make adults uncomfortable, so they develop sophisticated emotional survival strategies. Trauma responses play a significant role in this pattern. When overwhelming experiences teach us that feeling deeply is dangerous, we learn to suppress and minimize our inner emotional landscape. As Pete Walker's work on complex PTSD reveals, emotional avoidance becomes a protective mechanism, a shield we construct to feel safe in an unpredictable world. Cultural conditioning amplifies this tendency. Some societies celebrate stoicism, teaching individuals that real strength means never showing vulnerability. But this isn't strength, it's emotional amputation. We're essentially cutting off parts of our authentic human experience, believing that constant happiness is the only acceptable emotional state. Real emotional health isn't about being happy all the time. It's about being honest. In relationships, toxic positivity isn't just a personal problem, it's a connection killer. When we constantly mask our true feelings, we create invisible barriers that prevent genuine intimacy. Think about the last time someone responded to your genuine struggle with a dismissive, "just stay positive," or "it could be worse." How did that make you feel? Likely unseen, unheard, and even more alone. The book Attached explores how emotional vulnerability is the cornerstone of meaningful relationships, but toxic positivity systematically destroys that vulnerability. By refusing to acknowledge pain, sadness, or complexity, we teach our partners and friends that only our perfect emotions are welcome. This emotional dishonesty creates a profound disconnection. People start to sense something is artificial even if they can't name exactly what's wrong. Trust erodes. Conversations become shallow. Intimacy becomes impossible when one person is constantly performing happiness instead of experiencing authentic emotion. True connection requires the courage to be imperfect, to show up in relationships with our full, messy, complicated emotional landscape. It's not about being negative, but about being real. Breaking free from toxic positivity isn't about becoming negative, it's about becoming authentic. Imagine emotions as a vast landscape where every feeling has its place and purpose. The first step is simple yet profound, recognizing that all emotions are valid, not just the comfortable ones. Dr. Kristin Neff's groundbreaking work on self-compassion offers a powerful framework for this journey. Instead of forcing a smile or pushing away difficult feelings, we can learn to sit with our emotions, to observe them without judgment. This means acknowledging when you're struggling, when you're hurt, when you're uncertain, and treating those experiences with gentle understanding. Creating safe spaces for genuine feelings starts with yourself. It means giving yourself permission to feel sad without trying to immediately fix it, to be angry without guilt, to be vulnerable without fear of weakness. Emotional authenticity is about honesty with yourself and with others. The cycle of toxic positivity breaks when we realize that our emotions are not something to be conquered, but something to be understood. They are not obstacles, but messengers, each carrying important information about our inner world. Mindfulness offers us a radical alternative to emotional suppression, learning to sit with our feelings without judgment. Imagine treating your emotions like passing clouds, observing them without getting swept away, acknowledging their presence without letting them consume you. John Kabat-Zinn's groundbreaking work on mindfulness teaches us that emotional acceptance isn't about liking every feeling, but about creating space for them. When we practice non-judgmental awareness, we transform our relationship with discomfort. Instead of fighting against sadness, anger, or anxiety, we learn to witness these emotions with compassionate curiosity. This isn't about wallowing or becoming stuck. It's about moving through emotions instead of around them. Mindfulness helps us develop emotional flexibility, teaching us that feelings are temporary experiences, not permanent states. We can feel deeply without being overwhelmed, recognizing that every emotion carries valuable information about our inner landscape. By practicing acceptance, we create room for genuine healing. Our emotions stop being something to fear and become trusted guides, helping us understand ourselves with greater depth and authenticity. There's a profound difference between authentic happiness and the performative positivity that masks our deeper emotional truths. Genuine optimism isn't about denying pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging challenges while maintaining hope and resilience. Martin Seligman's research on positive psychology reveals that true emotional health isn't about constant smiling, but about developing a realistic and compassionate relationship with our full emotional landscape. Healthy positivity allows space for all feelings, recognizing that sadness, frustration, and uncertainty are not weaknesses, but natural human experiences. Unhealthy positivity, by contrast, becomes a shield, a way of avoiding uncomfortable emotions by painting everything with a thin veneer of forced cheerfulness. It's emotional camouflage that ultimately disconnects us from our authentic selves and prevents genuine healing. The key is balance, learning to approach both positive and negative emotions with curiosity, compassion, and honesty. Real emotional resilience isn't about eliminating difficult feelings, but about developing the courage to experience them fully, learn from them, and move forward with greater understanding. Building emotional resilience isn't about eliminating difficult feelings, it's about developing the skills to navigate them effectively. One powerful tool is journaling, which allows us to externalize our inner experiences and observe our emotions with greater clarity. By writing without judgment, we create a safe space to explore our complex emotional landscapes. Professional support can also be transformative. Books like The Body Keeps the Score reveal how trauma and suppressed emotions get stored in our physical beings. Therapists can help us decode these emotional patterns, teaching us to listen to our inner experiences with compassion rather than criticism. Emotional intelligence is the cornerstone of true resilience. This means learning to recognize our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. It's about developing a curious, non-reactive stance toward our inner world, understanding that every feeling carries valuable information about our needs, boundaries, and inner experiences. The goal isn't to eliminate challenging emotions, but to build the capacity to experience them without being consumed. By practicing emotional awareness, we transform our relationship with ourselves, turning what once felt overwhelming into opportunities for growth and self-understanding. Emotions aren't problems to be solved, but messengers carrying vital information about our inner world. When we shift from seeing feelings as inconvenient interruptions to understanding them as intelligent signals, we begin a profound transformation in our emotional landscape. Think of your emotions like a complex navigational system. Sadness isn't a roadblock, but a compass pointing towards something meaningful. Anger isn't a weakness, but an indicator of violated boundaries. Each feeling, whether comfortable or challenging, offers insight into our deepest needs and experiences. Tara Brach's work on radical acceptance reminds us that true emotional healing begins with compassionate curiosity. Instead of judging our emotions, we can learn to welcome them, to sit with them, to listen to what they're truly saying. This isn't about wallowing, but about understanding. Self-compassion becomes our greatest tool. By treating our inner emotional world with the same kindness we'd offer a dear friend, we create space for authentic experience. We don't have to be perfect. We simply need to be honest with ourselves and with our full, beautifully complex emotional spectrum. As we conclude our exploration of emotional authenticity, it's time to look forward, not with forced optimism, but with genuine compassion for ourselves. Your emotional journey isn't about eliminating difficult feelings, but about creating space for all of them. Imagine emotional health as a wide-open landscape, not a narrow path of constant happiness. Whitney Goodman's groundbreaking work on toxic positivity reminds us that true resilience comes from acknowledging our full emotional range, not restricting it. This means giving yourself radical permission to feel deeply and honestly. Sadness isn't weakness. Anger isn't a failure. Uncertainty isn't a problem to be solved. These are signals, messages from your inner self asking to be heard and understood. Your emotions are not something to conquer, but to conversation with. They're not obstacles to happiness, but the very texture of human experience. When you learn to listen to them, truly listen, you unlock a profound form of self-understanding that no forced smile could ever achieve. Moving forward, challenge yourself to sit with uncomfortable emotions. Notice them, respect them, let them move through you without judgment. This isn't about wallowing, it's about witnessing your own beautiful, complex emotional landscape with curiosity and care. Real emotional freedom isn't about being happy all the time. It's about being authentically, courageously you.